So because we declared this sport class, as you can see here, as an abstract class, okay, now you can see that the compiler doesn't show us any error. So now I want to actually implement, the error is gone, okay, and this class, this sport class, actually implements this life insurance interface, okay. So here, let's actually create some getters and setters for our instance variables here, okay. So inside of this class, just right click here, okay, and then click on generate, and then click on getter and setter, and then let's actually select all of these instance variables and then click on OK. So now, as you can see, the IDE, the Android Studio IDE, actually generated these getters and setters automatically for us, okay. Get name, set name, get rules, set rules, get uniform, set uniform, okay. Get speed required, set speed required, get power required, and set power required, okay. So now I want to actually override the toString method that this sport class actually implicitly inherits from the object class, okay. So here you can see I can just put in extends object. Here I am actually explicitly inheriting all of the features and behaviors that are inside of this object class, and this class also implements this life insurance interface, as you can see here, okay. So now let's actually override the toString method that is inside of the object class, okay. So I can just put it here. So here, as you can see, I pasted these lines of code here. @ override public string toString, okay. And this method actually, as you can see, returns a string value. So here inside of this method, as you can see, I am saying that return string.format, and here inside of these double quotes, I am actually specifying the format of my string value, okay, %s. So here this token %s is actually referring to this name here, okay, this string value, colon, %s get name, okay, %n a new line character, another %s. So this rules here, as you can see, is for this token, as you can see here, colon, space, %s. So this %s is for this get rules, okay, and %n a new line character, and %s, as you can see here, is for this uniform, okay, colon, space, we have another %s here, get uniform, okay, %s, %n, as you can see here, this is a new line character, we have another %s here, so this %s is for this speed required here, colon, space, %d, okay, so this %d is for this get speed required, okay, %s a new line character, %s, and this %s is for this power required, and as you can see here, colon, space, %d. So this %d is for this get power required, okay. So hopefully that makes sense. And now let's actually go inside of this boxing class, okay. Now I want to actually, so as you know, a boxing is actually a sport, okay. So there is actually a relationship between this boxing class and this sport class. So here I can just type in extends sport. So now, as you can see, the compiler is actually complaining, and let's actually hover our mouse pointer over the error area and see what's the error. Class boxing must either be declared abstract, okay, or implement abstract method evaluate cost of insurance. So as you know, boxing, it is not an abstract concept. So we need to actually implement the cost of insurance method that is actually declared inside of this life insurance interface, okay. So because we are actually inheriting all of the features and behaviors that is inside of this sport class, and this sport class actually implements this life insurance interface, here inside of this boxing class, we need to actually override the abstract method that is inside of this life insurance interface, as you can see here, okay. So hopefully that makes sense. Now let's actually put in some more lines of code here, okay. Now inside of this boxing class, let's actually declare some instance variables, okay. So here, as you can see, I declared these instance variables, okay, int punching power required, int punching speed required, and int a cost of insurance. So let's actually declare these instance variables as private, okay, private, and here private and private, okay. So now let's actually create a constructor for this boxing class. So inside of this boxing class, I'm gonna actually paste in this constructor here, and then I'm gonna explain to you what's going on here. So as you can see here, we have a constructor here, public boxing, and here as you can see, this boxing constructor actually accepts some arguments, okay? String name, string rules, string uniform, int speed required, int power required, and as you can see here, int punching power required, int punching speed required, and int cost of insurance. And inside of this constructor, because I am actually inheriting all of the features and behaviors that are inside of this sport class, we need to initialize the constructor of the super class. So super, name, rules, uniform, okay, speed required and power required, okay, and then we can actually instantiate our own instance variables, okay, this dot punching power required, assignment operator punching power required, okay, this dot punching speed required, as you can see here, I am referring to this instance variable, assignment operator punching speed required, okay, and this dot cost of insurance, assignment operator cost of insurance, okay. So hopefully that makes sense. Now let's actually create a getter and a setter for these two instance variables, okay, punching power required and punching speed required, okay. We don't need to actually create a getter and a setter for this cost of insurance instance variable, okay. So here I can just right click inside of this class, generate, and getter and setter, and here for these two instance variables, punching power required and this instance variable, punching speed required, here select these instance variables and then click on OK. So as you can see, the IDE actually automatically generated these instance variables for us. These are getters and setters for us, okay. And now let's actually override the evaluate cost of insurance method that is inside of this life insurance interface, okay. So here, because we are inheriting all of the features and behaviors that are inside of this sport class, okay, so let's actually go inside of this sport class here, and this sport class actually implements life insurance interface. This boxing class must actually provide an implementation for this for the cost of insurance method that is inside of this life insurance interface. So inside of this boxing class, I can just type in evaluate a cost of insurance method, as you can see here, and here we are actually overriding this method, public double evaluate cost of insurance. So here let's actually delete this implementation here, and now we can actually put in our own implementations inside of this method, okay. So here I can just type in return cost of insurance semicolon, okay. So inside of this method, I'm just returning the value of this cost of insurance instance variable that I actually created inside of this boxing class, okay. And here, after this method, after the ending curly brace of this method and inside of this boxing class, let's actually override the toString method that we actually inherit from the super class. So what is the super class? The super class is the sport class, okay, and we can actually inherit this method, okay. So inside of this boxing class, here I can just type in toString, and let's actually delete this line of code here, and let's actually put in our own implementations that is actually specific only to this boxing class here, okay. So now I'm gonna actually paste in some lines of code here, and then I'm gonna actually explain to you what's going on here, okay. So as you can see here, this is the implementation that we actually put in here, okay. Return string.format here, and inside the double quotes I am actually specifying the format of my string value, so %s. So this %s here, this token is actually for this super.toString here, okay. So super it actually refers to the super class. So the super class is actually this sport class, okay. And inside of this sport class, we have this toString method, okay. So inside of this boxing class, as you can see, we actually called this toString method on this super, okay. So here, as you can see, we are actually, it's gonna actually execute these lines of code that are actually inside of this toString method here, as you can see. And then here, it's gonna actually return these values. Okay, for example, get name, get rules, get uniform, get speed required, and get power required. Okay,